Astronauts to the moon.
Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1.
Houston, we have a problem.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue.
What you're seeing here is a mirage.
What's going on, everyone? It's jeranism, back with another live video for you today. If you're wondering what that sound is, it's actually somebody just subscribing, believe it or not. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. So thank you for joining me. I'm going to check and make sure you guys can all hear me. And as soon as I get the okay on that, I will start. So I'm going to wait and see. Just somebody let me know if you can hear me and everything's okay. I am trying something very new today. So 1 second. I haven't seen anybody say they can hear me yet, which could be a problem. Can you hear my dog? Can you guys hear me? Let me check here if I can figure out what's going on. No, it should be heard. Can you guys hear me? Okay, good. You hear me. Jeez, scared me for a second. Thought it wasn't working. So yeah, thank you guys for joining me. I did want to start out real quick and talk about something interesting that I saw yesterday. So 1 second, we will bring it on over. So what I saw was this video here. Hopefully you guys have seen this, or maybe you've seen it. It's just a video from the so-called London terror attacks that just happened the other day, and I wanted to watch this video because I thought it was extremely interesting. And oops, I can watch it from here, can't I? 1 second. Okay, so what we're going to do is watch this. So I wanted to point that out because I thought it was extremely interesting and wanted to get your guys' opinion on that. But what I see there that I think needs to change is, you know, these are all innocent people, and we'll go back and actually take some of the sound out here if we can. Maybe we cannot. Don't know why it's not working. But you know, you've got these people that are innocent that are being told to get down, and you know, there's an issue with that in the fact that they're innocent, and that, you know, all those cops were just standing around doing nothing, and you know, you got other people telling them to get down. Sorry, I'm trying to figure something out here. I'm trying something new, and it is not working as it's supposed to right now. Trying to figure out why. Okay, that might be a little bit better. Also, something kind of new today, if you want to try it, and we can see if it works, but if you go to Twitter and you use the hashtag jeranism live, which you'll see written up at the top, that should allow you to have your tweets show up on the screen up there. So for instance, I've seen a couple people have already tweeted today. There's this one here. Somebody just sent this one, and then also Fight the Power sent one, Casada Adam or something. So if you go ahead and tweet with the hashtag jeranism live, those things should show up live throughout the show, so we can check those as well. But what we're going to do tonight is just watch some NASA films. I've got some old NASA documentaries and various types of videos. We're just going to watch those together. I really don't even know what I have lined up. I just threw a whole bunch of them in here, and we're just going to kind of go through them one by one. Just going to make sure that everybody sees it okay. 1 second. Thank you for joining me, everybody in the chat. I appreciate it. And I am using new software. I switched from OBS to something completely new. So I'm just trying to make sure that all this stuff is hooked up and ready to go. And so I'm just checking that and making sure that's okay. That's good. All right, where is my, there it is. All right, we're going to transfer this one over. Okay, now we should be set to go, I believe. All right, so we were watching, let me see here, we'll start with this one here, which is something that just happened recently. And I don't think you guys can hear the sound on this. Maybe you can tell me, do you hear any sound with this video? If not, I'm just going to turn it down, but we shouldn't be listening to sound anyway. We're just going to be kind of watching some of this stuff and making sure that it's going across to you guys. So 1 second, checking again. Okay, good, that's going fine. So this is STS 49, it looks like. I'm going to be skipping forward here a little bit. And do you guys hear any sound or no? I'm just waiting to see if somebody can tell me. Did you hear any sound on this video? Actually, I'll turn it back up and see. Do you guys hear that or no? You may not. The Viper of Death has great evidence there. He says the Earth isn't flat. Thank you, Viper. No sound? Yeah, I didn't think you could hear the sound on this. Okay, so what we're looking at is some footage from, like I said, STS 49. And we just want to get out to it's a hilarious video. If you look it up and watch it on YouTube, it's got some hilarious points. These guys are supposedly going over some paperwork, and then you'll see some guys here in a second. These guys just in the I don't know what they're doing, putting on their astronaut uniforms, I guess. And then we get out here and actually get to watch some footage of this. And this was a release of some sort of, or a capture, I guess, is what they're doing. They're going to capture this guy here, which is a floating satellite. I guess that's in orbit. You got me. So we'll keep watching this for a second. Cool, I see people already starting to tweet, so I was just checking that, make sure that that's working, which it seems like it is. So you'll see those tweets start changing up at the top there if you want to watch for those. So yeah, we're just watching this hilarious footage here. What they end up doing is they actually, you'll see this part here. And actually, if you look right here, and I'm not sure, can you see my mouse? I guess there's no way for me to tell that. I wouldn't be able to check it. Oh wait, maybe if I can move this over the way. Let me see if I move this and move this. I'm getting a tweet from somebody. No sound. Oh, you mean of the video. Thank you. But you can hear me, I hope. I don't know if they meant no sound as in none at all. I'm sure you can hear me, because otherwise you probably wouldn't have known to tweet. So, yeah, I'm not sure why there's no sound on that. I'll have to fix that for next time. But I'm just going to rewind a little bit here, and you can actually watch down in this area. Oh, you can't see my mouse. That I can fix, but at the end of this stick that he's holding, so look at this stick, and look at the far right of the stick, and you can actually see that it's being moved separate of the astronaut himself. And if you ever want to find the footage that is just cringeworthy, it's all this old stuff. Anything from the early STS missions, anything from Skylab, and I've got all that stuff lined up, so we'll go through and watch some of it together, because like I said, it is too funny. There's some stuff that's so obviously done in a pool. Sometimes they'll show you right before, like here, I'm showing you the pool, and then they'll show you space, trying to show you that there's a big difference. And you'll see that here shortly, and then you'll watch these guys twist this satellite. And one of the funny things about the way you observe these, look at this. So the funny thing about this is that And just make sure we can see it. Funny thing about this is they'll never, if all they have to do is pan up and show us this satellite that is supposedly just orbiting right above their, I mean, that's just right there above their head floating. That's what you're supposed to believe. And they could just take the camera and pan up to show us that it is actually just floating there. But they won't do that. And why won't they do that? Because it's obviously hung by some sort of string. And so this makes for a better little video for them to do it this way. But if they just would scroll up, we should see this huge black apparatus just hanging in the openness of space. But we don't see that. They're just going to keep showing us that. There you go. You got Neil deGrasse rocking out whenever we get a new subscriber. So thank you, Neil. And if anybody donates, there's even a funnier video. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but you can donate by going to bit.ly/JeranTip. If you want, it is not required. My videos will always be free, whether I make a penny or $1 million. Either way. So you can just see that they're supposedly fixing this. I mean, it just looks like they're holding it. I don't know what they're possibly doing that's fixing it. Doesn't look like they're fixing anything to me. We'll go a little bit further along here. And you'll see one of the guys here on the left is on the little portable foot restraints. But one of these days what I'll do is I'll have, for the show, I'll open up my video editor and show you how we can actually keep an eye on what we're seeing. Let me show you. I'm going to rewind it here. I wish I could show you my mouse. Hey, thank you, Tracy. Thank you for joining. Appreciate that. Let's watch this again from here. Watch this shadow. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate it. You see the shadow that's on this pole. Okay, I'm looking at the pole on the right there. And you can see that the shadow... Thank you. Ultima Hombre 31. Appreciate that. But if you just look at these shadows, they tell me that there's more there than we see. Way more. And you'll see something go by here behind it. Again, my contention or my claim is that I think that they are in a pool. I think that there are scuba divers all around them. And I think that they live edit it out of the broadcast. And they can do that within 5 seconds, 10 seconds. It's not even difficult. In fact, what I'm probably going to try and do, and if you don't know, I'm going to be trying to have as many shows as I can. But what I want to do on one of them is show you what I mean by the ability to live edit video. Because what I can do is put up a green screen, and then if I stand there and kind of record myself doing motions where I think I'm holding something that's floating, well, then I can put those things in after. So thank you, another subscriber. Appreciate that. So you'll see here they're just laughing stock, really. And here's them trying to get it to release. They say they can't get it to release, it won't let go, and then all of a sudden here they're going to figure it out, and there it goes. So these guys are all a bunch of jokers. Let me see if there's anything else on this tape we want to watch. Oh yeah, there's this one, the flying trapeze artist. Watch this, it's classic here in a second. Look at this. Look at these guys. That is way too funny. Look at this. I mean, what are these guys doing? What are they even building? That's the question. I mean, the answer has to be absolutely nothing. What a joke. Let me see if we've got some more of these. Just one second, I'm going to fix something so that I don't have to approve these tweets to go across, because I don't have time to do that. So one second. Okay, so that should be fixed. Now hopefully they'll be going through. Thank you very much, Desi boy. Appreciate that. And I'm also going to turn off that volume so we don't have to hear this much anymore. Alright, we can still see Neil dance, don't worry. But we don't have to listen to the music anymore. So just watching again here, these guys supposedly in space. Give me a break. In space. Okay, let's go to another video. Let's see what else we got going here. Let's see what we have next. Oh, this is just one of my favorites. Happens to be sitting in the second slot. If you've never seen this before, this is when the Apollo 11 astronauts are coming out of the helicopter, and they're going to be in their very highly protective full body suits because heaven forbid they get anybody contaminated with their moon germs. So here comes the door to open. In a second we'll get to see them get out of the helicopter. Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong and Mike Collins, there they are in their full protective suits. They're obviously very contaminated, very dangerous. You don't want to touch them or get anywhere close to them. Unless, of course, you're the guy in the orange suit, in which case you just go ahead and go on in with them. Because they're not really like that toxic. So he just goes in there. So that's hilarious to me. That just happened to be second on the list here. And I think, if I remember right, yeah, here comes the this guy here in the green shirt, and he's going to hose it off with disinfectant spray. They're so toxic from the moon that they need to be sprayed down just where they walked. Yet the guy in the orange suit went in like it was nothing. Guess you weren't supposed to see him, but this guy's just hosing it off. Everybody watch. Very important duties here. Got to hose off the moon germs. So that's classic. Very funny stuff. Let's see what else we've got here in our arsenal for today. And like I said, I just threw in a bunch of them, so we'll just go to the next one and see what it is. So this looks like it's 1992 shuttle flight 46 STS-45. So, oh god, I see who this guy is. You probably recognize him. The most recent administrator, Charles Bolden. As I like to call him, Charles Bolden Liar. And let's see here. So this one takes off. Once we get up there, we're going to look at it. What was that supposed to be? Oh yeah, this is that one. My wife and I were watching this the other day. So these things are falling. Take a look at these boosters that are falling. Now look at this image. And the announcer says like it's nothing, and there's one of the solid rocket boosters. Or, I mean, watch again. What is that? That's falling. Who's filming it? I mean, that is just terrible. And here they're opening up the payload doors as they get to outer space. And, I mean, look at this line up here. By next time I do this, I'll make sure that my mouse can be seen. But look at the line in the upper right of the screen, which just kind of looks like they're inside of something looking up at a screen or some sort of image. I mean, it's just not in space. It makes no sense. I don't even see the Earth moving at all. Let's go forward a little bit. And these guys actually, oh, this is one of the funnier things ever. Watch this. Okay, ready to laugh. This is simply too funny. Hey, Wake the Sheeple, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Hello, Canada. NASA does lie. Excellent. Look at this thing here. And look at the right. Look at that little thing moving like somebody's there hoisting it up. I mean, you can see things moving around it. Yeah, it's like a little bubble there on the right, or like a hump. And it's like somebody's sitting there with their back. You can't see. Too funny. Let's keep on going. What else we got here? Oh yeah, this is them shooting these jets up. So watch these jets, like whoop. And then they're going to show you the cloud and say that these can be seen from Earth or something ridiculous. I mean, it's such a joke. And many people, I've heard videos made saying, oh, Jaron, you know exactly what all this stuff is, and you're trying to deceive people by showing them and making fun of it. And no, some of these things they have explanations for, of course. They, of course, have explanations for everything. It wouldn't be a very good deception if they didn't have explanations for their nonsense. I simply don't believe it. So one thing I can promise you, I can't promise you I can always be right, because that would be impossible. However, I can promise you I'll always be honest. So when I say that I think something is ridiculous, or I don't think it's real, or I think it's fake, or I think that scuba divers are in the pool with them, that is 100% my honest opinion, and that's all I can promise you. Like this image coming up here, I will tell you is 100% fake, in my opinion, right here. This is supposedly lightning strikes on the Earth. Charles Bolden is talking about how great and grand it is and how it looks like a symphony of electricity, and I just say that is fake, because if it's real, why can't we see that from the ISS right now? They can't even go to the cupola window at night and show us anything. And you can go to the ISS live and watch that. It's another night I want to do, just when we watch the ISS live and laugh hysterically at that. So let's see what else we got on this video. I don't remember there being too much, except for these guys come out of some drawer here in a second. This one here. I don't know what these three men are doing in there together. I'm not going to conjecture, but they obviously think it's pretty cool. I, on the other hand, do not. Yeah, got to do your flips, got to do all that fun stuff. I mean, this, sometimes it just looks so obviously in a pool that, I mean, look at this. This is like, just looks so obvious to me. Let's keep going forward, see if there's anything else here. Not much, just the fake space plane coming out of space. Let's look at that, because that's real. Here comes the shuttle glider.
It's going to show jets come out of it too.
Down to the Earth. And they always blur out the top of it for some reason, probably because it's the same thing. We think they had 4, they probably had 1.
Watch the jets from its wings.
Yeah, that looks so bad. Alright, let's see what we got next coming up. This is NASA Space Shuttle Missions and Payloads, educational documentary. So going old school now. I don't know what year we're looking at. We're just going to watch and see what we get. Oh, here we go. Now, sometimes I can't tell you whether or not that's supposed to be real, because they don't say. I'm assuming that's supposed to be fake. Please let it be fake. Please, please, please tell me it's fake. We got these guys having a conversation. Let me turn it up a little bit so I can hear what's going on. Look at these things. These are satellites in orbit around the Earth, they're saying. They revolutionized our life and changed the world for the future. Oh boy, this is classic. These guys are too funny. Anyone can call anyone on the face of the Earth and speak to them in real time. But if you call the ISS 250 miles above you, you have to have a 10-second delay. Makes a lot of sense. I don't know how you can not question these things. Let's see here. There's a big balloon. I mean, look at this. I mean, this is so fake, it hurts. Look at what's going on like below them right there. We're just going to watch this again. I mean, what is all this stuff? God, I wish I could point it out with my mouse. It sucks I can't.
You just have to describe it. The lower left. Upper.
I mean, you'll see right there, the top of the shuttle is like blurred out or something. That is disgusting. Let's go forward a little bit. See, I don't think that's supposed to be real, I hope.
That's the first one, isn't it?
Huh?
The first one was white, all white, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be fake. They don't say it is. They don't show you animation or anything. Let's go forward a little bit here. Oh, so here's a nice image. Here's them playing with this satellite here. Again, are people really building satellites? Yes. There's engineers and scientists that are building satellites, and then they package them up and they ship them to NASA, and then NASA... Oh, yeah, that's nice. Then NASA ships them to space, supposedly. And of course, anybody who built that satellite is going to feel like, well, it must have gone to space. Where else would it go? But all they look for in return is data. So it'd be very easy to fake that kind of information. I don't know what they're doing with this thing. Just how is it rising there on Earth? You can see men over here. Now that's definitely a drawing. I'm good enough to tell you that. Let's go forward a little bit and see what else we got. What is that one?
Okay.
I have no idea what they're trying to show here. Is that the Echo balloon? Or I'm not sure what they're showing. This is gross. This is like kindergarten stuff, man. It's so funny that nobody saw this for what it was. Or maybe they did and they just couldn't say so. But certainly it seems to be that it took till 2015 for people to start really questioning what is clearly fake. Let's go to the next one. What's this one? Oh yeah, this is a great piece of film. This is the rocket photography at Vandenberg Air Force Base, the Bird Watchers, 1966 USAF ESSA-3. So what we've got here is just some guys setting up cameras. Interesting film. I found this. Couldn't figure out what exactly they were trying to show. But then what you're going to get is something really interesting, because they're basically setting up to film a rocket launch. And if I go forward, you'll see that happening. But let me show you what you actually find. And let me see here one second. If I can find this. Yeah, so here they're actually getting ready to film this rocket launch. You can actually see here. I wonder why it doesn't go where I click. That's weird. Maybe you can see it happen right here. So there should be a little blast here in a second. And then the camera will switch to where I think the cameraman must be. So that's, it kind of looks like it's rising, but then you realize it's just like a frame change. Looks very, very fake. And maybe there's a reason why. Let's go forward a little bit here and watch from this point on. Oop, explosion. Okay, so now it flips back to these guys who are recording all this data on magnetic tapes. But now watch this next scene. So they're back to the guys with the cameras who were filming the rocket launch. And they are inside of a studio with a black backdrop and lights. So you see all the television camera, you got all the lights up here, you've got TV-like lights, you've got ladders, you've got stage men, you've got boom mics. And look at that, I don't know if you can tell me what that is all about. And then it goes back to this scene that we've already seen. But yeah, this is a big deal. These guys are all filming, looks like from inside of a building, this rocket launch. So I don't know, pretty interesting stuff. And then here at the end they've got a little watching party where these guys are going to watch this rocket launch, and they get to see this. And of course everybody thinks that's real, and end of story. But it could just be a model. And let's go to the next thing, which is, looks like, next one up is Skylab. So let's see what we get here. We get Skylab starting here. So this is the inside of Skylab. If you don't know what Skylab is, it's the predecessor to the ISS. And trying to find something good here. Any kind of film you can find from this is good enough to convince you that this is a total sham. Awesome. I see Truth Vlogs tweeted. Very cool. I agree with you on that one. And yeah, here you go. I mean, look at this. This is supposed to be real, folks. This is not a model. This is not some sort of animation to tell you anything other than this is supposed to be actual footage taken from this Skylab. Look at these things hit each other like with that kind of speed, and nothing happens. It just, nope, just connects. So we're just connecting this module to this one. I mean, they use the same exact little apparatuses. This is the same thing they use now. It never connects. It just supposed to, and you're supposed to believe it. In a second here, you're going to see some guys clearly out in water. Let's see if we can get it closer. Yeah, so start watching from here, and you're going to see some guys outside of the ship or the craft, whatever you want to call it. Now that clearly is in water. Okay, obviously that's not supposed to not be. But now this is supposed to be in space. And just go ahead and watch these guys outside of this craft here. Again, that's supposed to be real. That is not a model. It is actual footage taken from some craft on the way to the Skylab. Let's skip forward a little bit here. Some of this stuff you might have seen because this is just classic footage that I think many people have pointed out to be totally fraudulent. And for all those people who... Look at these guys. What is he getting into? Oh boy, this is funny. Let's go forward a little bit more here and see what else we can find. Really, it's just a whole world of people who were unfortunately indoctrinated into a belief that space exists, like we've been told, that space travel exists, that the moon landings are real, that planets are real, that they've actually convinced the world that it's somewhat important or even slightly important that we go to Mars, which is the absolute biggest joke there ever was. If they're so concerned about being an interplanetary species, then they would put a base on the moon, which they've already been to, and then you would have people live there, like 50 people. In case anything ever happened to the Earth, well, you can repopulate it from the moon. You would not just skip over that and say, nope, we're going to Mars now, which is 80 million miles away, and we're going to send people there, even though there's no air, and there's no water, and there's no plants, and there's no life. There's nothing. It's the absolute worst place for humans. And like I've said before, I could understand space travel and space expenditures if at any point I felt that the Earth was done and taken care of, and people respected it and accepted it as our home. And then once everything was perfect here, everybody was eating, there wasn't anybody hungry, there wasn't anybody homeless, then if we want to spend money on space travel, then we can do that. Look at that. Does that look like the sun to you? I mean, what is going on there? That's a pumpkin. These are the filaments from the sun. I don't know if you've ever been lucky enough to see that. I mean, look at this. This is classic. I mean, if you are somebody who vouches for this, you really need to take a deep look at what you accept as true, because it's clear that you only accept what people tell you is true. That if somebody says it's real, then you're going to agree with them, especially when you're talking about the scientific intellectuals of the world. That's all that you base what's real and what's not on. Is, well, what does science say? Oh, science says this is real? Then it's real. And you should have a big problem with that, because that's how you get taken over by charlatans. That's how you get bamboozled, is when you just accept things that people say without having the mind to logically look at this launch here. There it goes. Have you ever seen a rocket launch, a real rocket launch? Look up amateur rocket launches and watch these things take off so fast you can barely see them. Yet NASA's rockets meander up there because helium can't really move that fast. So you have to kind of wait for it. And I'm sure you've seen this scene before. And I heard Mick West say on his show with Joe Rogan, he said that the inside of the Super Guppy is too small to have had this take place. So obviously he's never seen the Super Guppy. Look at how small this little area is. Super Guppy is way bigger. And if you don't know what that is, just look up NASA Super Guppy and you'll see the big plane. And Somebody donated $2. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. I mean, look at this. What is going on here? Watch out. You're going to get hit by this post. Watch out. Watch out. Oh, just went right underneath his neck. There's a washing machine at your local laundromat. And there's the earth that you live on. I'm kidding, by the way. In case somebody thinks I was being serious. I don't know what the hell that's supposed to be. Obviously something very real. Alright, let's go to the next one. We've got Skylab, the first 40 days. Let's see what we got on here. I'm just kind of skipping ahead to random spots. Hopefully we can see something. Oh yes, this one was, I don't know if you ever heard this story, but of course it's kind of the same thing that had just happened recently. They said something broke when they got up there, and then they have all these scientists get around, they all discuss it, and then they call up some huge fix, and this is just all to reconfirm in all these people's minds that what they're training for and what they're talking about is actually going on, when it clearly isn't. It's just like the multiplexer demultiplexer that they installed recently is actually was actually put together by spare parts on the space station, and they want you to believe that. So believe that if you want. Again, this is them in a pool. You might ask a lot of questions. Well, you know, why would they show you in a pool if they're doing that? Well, they're showing you too that there's these scuba divers everywhere with them. You'll notice they're always dressed in all black. But they never imagine that it really was training for space. Well, then where's the day that they turn off all the lights in the pool? Why would you have it bright and everyone can see everything? And where's the day that they have no scuba divers helping them? No such thing. Because the scuba divers are needed to constantly move your cord, to make sure that you're not getting hung up on something, to make sure you're not going to rip your suit. And so they need the scuba divers there every time. But then we're supposed to believe that they just send somebody up to space eventually with no scuba divers up there with them, when really there's actually scuba divers with them. They're in a pool, and the scuba divers have been edited out. Let's see what this is. This is supposedly, oh yeah, we'll just watch from here. Watch these next couple scenes. I mean, these are supposed to be real. This is not supposed to be animation. This is actual footage, so they say. I mean, if you think that's in space, to all those globe believers, I just ask you to really look at some of this information and really try and use your brain and not just default to whatever the intellectuals of the world tell you, because that is a religion. That is a religion. You know, Joe Rogan said recently that the reason he now believes in the moon landings when he didn't before is because he doesn't know enough about it to question it. And so he must defer to those who do. And if that were the case, then he believes every religion on the earth, because he obviously hasn't done enough research to be any smarter than a Catholic priest, or to be any smarter than a Muslim cleric, or to be any smarter than a rabbi, that we should all defer to those who are smarter in each subject than us. Therefore, we must have those beliefs. Hey, Michael T. Pyle, thank you very much. Nice logo too, by the way. Nice icon. Yeah, I don't notice the, for some reason the super chats aren't coming up on the screen, so I'll check that out. So the only way you can see the cool video, actually I can make it happen right now just because it's funny. I'll show you what will happen if somebody donates, if I can get it to come up, which I think I can. Should be like this. There we go. I actually made that GIF, so give me props for that.
When the pimp's in the crib, ma, drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot.
That is too funny. I could watch that all day long. That was Neil and Bill Nye and Lawrence Krauss dancing for you. One more time, just because it's not right if I only do it once. There you go, enjoy.
When the pimp's in the crib, ma, drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot.
And no, that's not, I did not donate $71 to myself. That's just a test one. Alright, let's see what else we got here from Skylab. I don't know what this part is. What is going on here? This is, I guess, goes to the They still have the same kind of exercise equipment that they have now, just garbage. Don't even know what they're doing there. This is too funny. Let's go to the next one now. We've got something from the DoD. Not really sure what it is. Oh, from the inside of some craft. I guess we're looking at the Earth. And I don't know what this is here floating. That is classic. Look at the Earth coming over now. Oh. Uh-oh, watch out. We're falling. Look at that ball. That is, I mean, people believe that they, I mean, look at, you can see that's the window down below. It's not even the edge of the Earth. I mean, it's like they could see the whole globe, like continents. I mean, from their height, the most they'd be able to see is like a 3,000 mile diameter. This thing's like showing entire continents come rolling by. And if you think that's 250 miles high, wow. That is too funny. All right, let's go to the next one. Another DoD piece. This is from, hey, Tango Bear Buckies. Thank you so much. That is awesome. Oh, what did I miss? Thing took off. Look at this. Again, this is supposed to be real. Globe believers, explain yourselves. I mean, here's the thing. I used to believe in the globe too. Believed in it 100%. But I never was shown this. I was never sat down and said, hey, there's a chance that these MFers are lying to you and stealing your money. And this is the kind of horseshit that they put out as evidence that they're actually doing what they're supposed to be doing. And I would have seen this and I would have said, well, man, it's a pretty big conspiracy, but let me look into it. And when you look into it and you start digging and digging, then you will become a flat earther. And that's why there's so many, because once you see this stuff, you cannot go back to just believing. I can never believe I live on a ball anymore. It would take so much evidence that they are lacking right now. And even if they came up with all that evidence, well, I have to question whether or not it's because I'm asking for it now, whereas it should be there. It was taught to me and you in first grade and second grade as matters of fact, so clearly evidenced everywhere we look. Yet when you go looking for it, then you start to find out things like, well, what do you mean water doesn't go down in the other hemisphere the opposite way? Oh, well, you know, it's just an old wives' tale. Oh, okay, well, what about the Coriolis? Well, it's kind of an old wives' tale. Yeah, they don't really use it when they do artillery, and snipers really don't use it when they... It's like, okay, well, what about boats going over the edge? That's true, right? Well, no, not really, because you can bring them back with, you know, goggles, binoculars, or with a telescope, and all of a sudden, you realize, well, where's all the proof? Where's the evidence? Where's the... And there is none. You know, one of the... I can't remember who said the quote, I just read it yesterday, but basically somebody said, this is in the late 1800s, I think, that because boats go over the edge at the horizon, and there's no other viable explanation for it, that is why they say the Earth is a ball. And that was their proof, and they just went on. It's like, what? Well, now that we do have evidence that it's not what we were told, then are we going to reevaluate everything that was based on that? Well, of course not, because they've built up this entire lie around the whole fraud. So, let's see here. This one doesn't look like there's a whole lot of anything interesting here. I don't know what that's supposed to be. What is that? Let's watch this again. I still have no clue what this... This just says NASA Skylab, but I cannot figure out what is that. I could not tell you what that's supposed to be. Besides a joke. Oh, what happened? Their thing broke. Another thing I've had people say, they say, well, the Earth forms a ball, a sphere in space, because so does liquid in the ISS. So I beg you, go grab a pitcher of water, or ask somebody to pour out a pitcher of water in space, or in the ISS, and tell me if that's going to create a sphere. If you pour out a pitcher of water, you'll have water everywhere. It will not all gather together into a ball. If you poured out your pack of Skittles in space on the ISS, your pack of Skittles would not each start to pull each other gravitationally together. They would end up in every corner of the craft. I don't know what the spider has to do with anything. Don't know why they're even showing that. Alright, let's go to the next one. This is 1959. This should be interesting. Explorer 6. Or did we just watch this? Looks familiar. I think we just watched this. But I mean, this old stuff, when you watch this launch, I mean, these things are so bad. And yet, almost identical to what we get today from SpaceX and other money laundering organizations. The way they describe going to the moon, like it's just, this is all we have to do is just draw these circles. Okay, this is perigee, 150 miles, apogee. Okay, and this is 10.5 hours, and we do this circle, and that's it. And the craft goes to the moon, you land there, you get out, you play golf, you get back in, you launch back, you come back, land in the Pacific. Isn't space travel easy? And that's basically what they want people to think or something. Let's go to the next one. We've got Man in Space is what it's called. I don't know what it is. Looks like some launches coming up here from the start. I was talking about the first flight, and then we're going to see some launches here in a second. Yeah, like these. I mean, this can be so easily done with a model. And even if there's people, and there wasn't back then, you know, in 59 they're not inviting people to launches, but even if there is, they're 11 miles away. So, I mean, really, you can do anything, even on a smaller scale. And from a distance, people are going to believe it, especially if they want to believe it. This picture here, completely fraudulent. You could never see this much of the Earth. Because imagine what we're looking at there, you would just be able to turn to the left and see the rest of it. Look at this. Is this, do you think this is the ball Earth? This is completely and totally faked or tricked. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Is that supposed to be the sun? Who knows? I'm sure you've all seen this film before with the stop motion action and the astronaut's about to turn his head here and look at the camera like that. Let's go a little bit forward here. See what else we can find. What's this? Somebody supposedly in space. Got some quality moon landing footage here. Real quality. I mean, how can you argue with this landing film right here? Up, here we go. We're going to land. Oh, now we just slowed down. How did you slow down? Don't ask questions. Don't you dare ask questions. We slowed down because we do. Well, you didn't fire any engines there. No, we just slowed down. And then we got these contact lights, and we're supposed to believe these people went to the moon. Oh, there we go. We landed on the moon. And again, I showed pictures in my last live cat. Look at this guy jumping down. And what's that sticking up back there in the background? They never told me that. I see some white stick there. And these guys, if you've watched the video I did last time where I showed that they've got huge helium balloons attached to their back. And if you fill up the helium balloons just right enough, you're going to create the feeling of 1/6 gravity. Somebody could jump around, hop around, because the balloon is keeping you up for a little bit longer. Now, this is supposed to be a real video. This is really them driving. I mean, do you know how hard it is to get wireless footage today? To have a camera and have it wirelessly transmit data somewhere? Watch the Russian Vids video where he's interviewing a movie director, and the movie director says it's completely and totally preposterous that even today, if he wanted to transmit video just 100 feet live, that 1 hour would take a battery the size of a brick, let alone these guys being on the moon for sometimes 4 days, transmitting hundreds of hours of film, and wirelessly while you're driving across the moon in a little buggy. I mean, just imagine, things go slowly too. You don't just go to the moon and then say, yeah, we did that, let's bring a car. Let's bring a car this time to the moon. Let's just drive all around it. You got people's lives on. Look at this. Oh boy. Here it comes. And get it. Connect it. Yep, and everything's fine. No accidents. Nobody got hurt with this cardboard cutout thing here. There's your Earthrise, otherwise known as Earth joke. Here's your Earth standing in the stillness of space. Where's those stars? Well, that would require them faking something that people would be able to prove. When you just put the ball out there in the endlessness of nothing, it's hard to disprove that. Let's go on. This one's called NASA old footage. I don't know. Could be anything. So it's talking about old days, what they used to believe, of course. And let's see here what we can find. Can't tell if there's anything footage-wise. Oops, what's that? I'm not sure which of this is supposed to be real. Is this supposed to be... This might be supposed to be real, like a unmanned lander on the moon. Yeah, it looks like that's what they're trying to show here. Uh-oh. Look at this thing. Oh, pfft. This is supposed to be real. You gotta be kidding me. Look at this thing. What is going on? So sad. I mean, and I just think people should be smart enough to at least see this stuff and then question it. For instance, this image here of the Earth we're about to see the entire 8,000 mile diameter of the Earth left to right, you have to be 5,000 miles up. And so how are they seeing that? No human being has been further than 400 miles admitted by NASA since 1972. Yeah, I mean, what are these guys doing? What are they doing with their space uniforms over here, like alien suits or something? Did his little thing come up 39.59 right now? You gotta see that again. As if he's measuring the only... Oh, I just measured the radius. Oh, 35.99. Thought it was 39.59. Who knows what they're measuring? Oh, what's this? Start from here. I don't think that's supposed to be real. I don't think that's supposed to be real. Okay, let's go to the next one. More NASA old footage. And when I read you these names, you should be able to look these up on most of these, unless I say the DoD ones. The DoD comes from the DoD site. But the other ones usually come from YouTube at some point, or if you can't find it there, I'd go to archive.org. And I usually don't change the name, so when I read you the name, that is the name of the video. So you can try and find it yourself if you have questions, which you should have many. Like, what the hell are these guys doing lying to everyone's faces? Let's see here what we've got. This one doesn't look like... Oh, what is this? Did see something funny with some astronaut in a... Where was that? More pool footage. I don't think that's supposed to be real. I really hope it's not. Those guys certainly are walking. Oh, and I mentioned on Globebusters today, and I forgot to comment back on it, but I was asking Bob what was the theme song for Star Trek. And the one I was actually looking for was the theme song of Star Trek Enterprise, which is the song My Heart Will Believe or something. I don't remember. I wrote it down earlier. It is Think to Believe?
Faith to believe.
Oh, Faith to Believe.
Or something like that.
Theme song from Star Trek Enterprise, which says, you know, because I've got faith of the heart. I've got faith to believe. It's just so funny. I mean, they're just telling you right there that it's a religion. This is supposed to be from the sun. I mean, give me a break. I sound like Russian vids. Listen! Give me a break.
Love version.
I love Russian vids. He's good. But he always tells me to listen. Listen! Let's see here. What is that supposed to be? Oh, we're going to find out.
Oh.
What is going...
What? Huh?
Wait a second. This is the kind of stuff you can find. Like, what was that? Why is that in a building? I gotta see this again. What are they showing through that window? I have no idea. It's like in the window. Really weird. Classic. Alright, let's go to the next one. Again, this one's called NASA Old Footage as well. Oh, this is that really old stuff. This one here, I don't think that they even pretended they could put people in space yet, so... Because this is when they had... Like, look at this. Here comes the sunrise. Now, of course this isn't supposed to be real. I think this is like late 40s, early 50s, I think. Yeah, this is... Like, they shot this thing to the moon. Here it goes. Is this the one that sticks to it like its eye? Oh, goodness. That is hilarious. All right, let's go further and see what else we got here. Oops. It's identical. I mean, so look at this and tell me, I mean, how did they do this? They can do this, and people think like they didn't have the technology to fake the moon landings. I've actually heard that before. They didn't have the technology to fake the moon landings. So they must be real because they had the technology to go there, just not to fake it. Makes so much sense. I don't know why I ever questioned it. Let's go to the next one. And this looks like one of the Apollo launches. Looks like the Saturn V. Let's go ahead and watch this part here. Small steps, giant strides. Man's journey into the heavens. Oh, sorry. That's going to be the narrator for it, but
Man this, man that.
man, science, and science man, and yeah, let's watch this part here. Oh, don't fall. Oh, here we go. Wait, what is this person doing? Why are they catching it with their hands? What is this? What was that? Look at this. Oh, this guy. Oh, lean back. Oh, you can see the string on his head. Oh, you could see the wire. Rewind this. Okay, people, are you watching here? Watch out, this guy's doing circles around the, and the super guppy's too big for anybody to do this. Alright, let's watch, what we're going to be watching here is watch the top of this guy's head. Okay, this astronaut over here, watch the top of his head, and just keep an eye on right above it, because if there's a string or something holding him up, let's see if we can see it. Did you see that? Go back a little bit. See if I can pause it right on it. Oh, there you go. Shoot, there's a better one before. Oh, right there. There you go. Look at that. Clearly you can see there that he is on some sort of rope. When the light hits it right, oh, don't fall. I don't even know what this is supposed to be. I don't know why this scientist is... You know he's a scientist because he's got gloves on. And let's see here. Man, that is so bad. Let's go further. See if there's anything else in here. And this is... You can have fun. Just go look up old NASA stuff. Try and find VHS tapes. Try and... On YouTube, there's so much stuff that you can just... STS start at 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like 126 STS missions, and all of them are just filled with great content. Then you can watch anything moon landing. I mean, look at this. This is supposedly the craft that left the moon. It launched again with people in it, even though that still has not been done since that day. Elon Musk right now is supposedly landing rockets and then relaunching them like 3 months later. But 50 years ago, we went to the moon, 240,000 miles away, landed, and then relaunched with people in it, and it came all the way back to Earth. I don't know how people can believe that anymore. Well, I do know, until they've been told, hey, there's a bunch of people looking into it, you should check it out. And if you do check it out, then you pretty much have to come to the conclusion that you've been fooled, and if not, then please tell me what evidence made you think otherwise. Wow, is this... Watch this. I don't know which mission is this from, but watch this. He's on a cord too. See it?
Mm-hmm.
See it? Oh, don't fall. Now again, you'll have people who believe this stuff say, no, that's an antenna on his back. Well, of course, what are they going to say? That it's a rope tied to a balloon? Of course not. So whatever they have to tell you, you're just going to believe, and that's the difference between you and me. As I see lies, and then I don't let liars get away with it anymore. Without everything they say being scrutinized. And when you start scrutinizing NASA, that becomes a full-time job. Because it's just a disaster. Let's see what else is on this one. Alright, let's go to the next one. This one's also called NASA Old Footage. Let's see what we get here. Oh, we get John Glenn, I think, coming out of... This is, I think it's one of the Mercury, if I'm not mistaken. But you know, he gets launched up, and this is exactly what they do all the time. His craft takes off here, and it hits its peak, arches, and goes out and lands in the ocean. That's exactly what happens in this scene, and that's exactly what they still do. The only difference now is that they'll switch camera views to a view from space, and then everybody believes them. That's the only proof you get, though. Again, this is John Glenn, then he lands into the water there. Let's see, we're going further here. Stuff like this. And I've shown it before, I don't remember exactly what video it was, but when they went on Apollo, I think it was 17, maybe it was 16, that the image of the Earth that they showed live when they were going to the moon, and then the image that they showed live when they were coming from the moon, are both the exact same images. Which again just means that they're telling lies. And I'm trying to fast forward if there's anything else good in here. And doesn't look like it. Alright, let's go to the next one. This one's called Satellite Orbit. Again, I think we watched some of this one before. Some things might be in there twice. But again, this is supposed to be real. Watch this and tell me how... Make your family members back this up.
That's my vacuum filter. Is that the reflection of the Earth? It looks flat.
I know it did. I saw that too. But it was a cylinder.
Oh, it was.
So I don't know what that would really do. Yeah, I mean, the crazy thing is here too, we don't know how they're faking it, but it doesn't really matter as much as that they are faking it. And I think that they fake it in many different ways. Sometimes they use a pool, sometimes they use strings, sometimes they use harnesses, sometimes they use CGI. And the reason for that is so that I can't point something out like they're in a pool, and then you go find one video that proves that they're not, and you say, no, they can't be in a pool because this would be impossible, or whatever. So they have to fool you in a myriad of ways so that you can't call them out on it. Now, oh, this whole video is like the same position here. See, I'm fast forwarding a little bit till where do we get here? Looks like you're going to start zooming out here, or is that traveling away from them? That's classic. This is actually like supposedly Space Lab here, I guess, orbiting away. What are these things? Oh my goodness! Look at this. This is a ceiling fan. What is that supposed to be? Or where was it even filmed by? I don't even know. Let's go to the next one. We got, oh, this is Skylab 2 undocking, or is that the one I was just on? Nope, that's the one I was on, sorry. Skylab 2 Part 10 news coverage. Oh, this is, in case you didn't know, that it supposedly was supposed to come down and impact Earth somewhere, so they had a bunch of people all talking about it on the news. Now, this is supposedly, where is this image here, or this video? This is supposedly video from the ISS, or not the ISS, from Skylab, but this is filmed from a plane. I'm sure you've seen this many times, as I have. But you're then supposed to believe that out of this hole in the sky popped the little capsule. And they never show you that. They'll just show you these kind of scenes here, like what's going on? Oh, and up there it is, splash in the water. Believe us, splashdown. You have to believe us because we wrote the word splashdown on the screen. And only somebody telling you the truth would do that. Let's go to Skylab 3 Rendezvous. Don't have too many more left, so let's see what this one is. Oh, so this is, here comes the Skylab into view. Wow, that is bad. I'm going to fast forward a little bit here to you. Pretty funny. Alright, let's go forward a little bit more. And you can see here. And this one here is called Skylab, the second manned mission, a scientific harvest. I don't know, that's what it says. We saw those guys running around looking like jackasses. I mean, what is that? I'm gonna watch it again, sorry. What the? Sorry, I want to watch that again. Because I don't know what that was supposed to be. What? Look at this. Anybody know what that is? Please tell me. Alright, Hoary Sheet Show. I love it. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let's see what else we got here. I just saw pictures of the sun, which were a total joke. I lost them. Is it here? Here? I don't know what that is. That's the fire of the atmosphere when you come back. Gotta go through that fire. Going to... Oh! Just rip that to shreds. All very believable. Let's go to this one. This is STS 108. Oh my goodness. This is supposed to be real.
Yep.
This is supposed to be real. That's what's so funny. I mean, anybody who can just explain this away with, well, it's NASA, it's science, and, you know, must be true because we went to the moon, all right? We went to the moon. Yep, sure we did. And I have to tell you that I think all this is supposed to be real. I wish I could say differently. I think that's supposed to be real. Yeah. And now we're getting a live downlink from our cameras at the International Space Station. They're in orbital darkness as they approach the west coast of Europe. Jokers. Oh boy. Now we got some sort of connection going. This is the docking. I mean, how would they even move the... Oh gosh, that's great. I'm at a loss sometimes. It's too funny. Go, 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 go. Go, Speed Racer. Yeah, and I don't even know how is this thing dock with that? It's like a big magnetic ring or something. Get it, don't be off. And... Oh, just easy. Let's go next one. This is STS 110. Oh, I think that you've all probably seen this one before. It's the one where people have said that you could see the scuba tank. There's the baloney door. Oh, this one ends pretty quickly. It's just with these guys inside there still. Next one is STS 110 FD. I don't know what's going on. It's just moving. It looks like... Wow. That is too funny. Kind of rushing through some of these. This is STS 110 FD08. I don't see any spacewalk here. I just see them showing this little apparatus for the whole video. This is STS 111. That is supposed to be real. Wake up, everybody. Wake up. Wake up. Pay attention to this. This is supposed to be real footage. That is the shuttle in space approaching the ISS. Or not. This is STS 112 FD04. Again, this is supposed to be real. I mean, come on. The slow but steady rotation of the truss, this large boxy device needs to be placed into the ammonia tank assembly, and the ammonia will be flowing through the truss, and so ridiculous. Oh, now it's going to turn day out of nowhere. Here comes the day. Prepare for this. There we go. Very real. And let's go to STS. Whoop, did we already see this one? 112. Oh, nice. They said it's a new camera. Just heard them. What is this? Now, if you've ever seen videos of them in the water doing drilling and stuff, I mean, it looks identical. You just have a green screen background. And just like that, you fool the world. See where we're at here? Oh man, that is so bad. So yeah, so next time I do this, what I'll do is I'll have my editor open and we can look at shadows, and I don't know where that video is. Remember the video? We had a video that we saw quite a few shadows of the... It's the shadows of the scuba divers, not 45. The...
It's the S45.
45? Maybe I'll check. I might have that one after. Oh. Don't get hurt. Okay, let's go to this one. This is supposedly STS-115. And this camera is like panning the bottom of it. This is the things they have to do when something bad happens, so now they have to do this because of what happened to Columbia, or no? That would have been before this. I don't know why they're doing that. Let's go to the next one. This is STS-134. And another thing that's, it's still fun to watch, but that's supposed to be real. Holy smokes. I cannot believe it. Let's go back to here, right here. This is funny. Oh, look, it's the Kelly brother. Whichever one lies all the time. Oh, wait, that's both of them. It's STS-134. Let's see some actual space footage here coming up. I mean, that is so funny that this is believed. That's the shuttle. How it's getting light on the top of it, don't ask me. Because it certainly can't be from the sun, or else the land below it would be lit. And is this the one where it does a flip? You ever seen that one? Yep, here we go. That's all very real. And they come and they get connected. They do their rendezvous. Yeah, that's supposed to be real. That's the funniest thing, is that those are actually supposed to be real. This is supposed to really have happened. This is really in space. What's going on here? Wow, you ever seen that? I can't even... Let's watch that again, because I can't even explain that one. Where were they supposed to be? So we're watching this again. This is just a EVA. And again, during these EVAs, they'll never show you the Earth, or at least not for very long, because then you'd be able to see that it's not live. So these EVAs, they'll put these cameras on their heads and make sure you only see what's right in front of them. But also notice that everything that they're looking at looks curved. And the reason why is because they're... Wow. It looks like somebody's stuck in an erector set. I don't know what that is. So look, this is important too. To get the astronaut suits on. Is that what they're called? Suits or uniforms? I don't know what you call them. Gear?
Life support. I don't know.
Dumbass costumes? So this takes two people putting on the suits for the two other people. It's a big operation, yet Neil and Buzz, they landed on the moon without their moon suits, which makes a lot of sense, because if they had any kind of crack or anything, they just would have died. But then they get there, and then they put them on in that tiny little homeless tweaker shelter. They put them on each other, I guess. I don't really know how that's even possible. But it must have happened because science said so. Just like evolution. Can we get an example of that? Well, no, because time's too long. Oh, can we get some sort of evidence? Well, everybody knows it. You're not even allowed to teach school if you don't believe in it. Trying to see what's down here. This looks like something here and over there. But what I was going to say about when you look this stuff up, it's best to look for full EVAs, because what you're going to find is that these ones here, especially like this one, are usually what they call like mission highlights. And those have been obviously heavily edited, and it's just the parts where probably they've been looked through with a fine-tooth comb. But if you can find the full ones and the old ones, that's the hardest to find and the most obvious fakes. So we'll actually go see, because I think that's it in my little list here, is it? Like I said, I just grabbed a few, but we'll go look at, if I close this, does that close? Yes. Alright, so let's see if I can go look at others. Maybe I can, maybe I can't. Let's see, if we go here. So we watched that one, and this one here. Yes, we'll put this one in. Oh, it'd be better if I do this way. 1 second. You can just keep watching that. I'm going to try and square the screen up so I can move over here. Whoa, what do I do? No. This one. There we go. And then this one. Okay. Okay, 1 second. I will get this screen squared. Actually, it's probably good enough there, or... Oh, no, I'll do this way. Let's see if I go... Oops. No. Position, yes. Okay, that's not working. I'll just do right that for there. Okay, and let's see if we merge this one in there. All right. So we are looking here at. Make sure you're seeing what I'm seeing. Okay. So this is STS flight 49. This is the one we watched earlier. So we're going to go to 45. Because I believe that is the one I watched last night. Do any of these look familiar? Yeah, UFO footage. So yeah, I'll just show you how I go through. We're going to go EVA, STS, I don't know, STS 50. Let's see what we get from that. And then, so go full EVA, STS 50. And again, sometimes you have to get lucky where you can find, I'm looking here at the times to see if there's anything longer than, this is Expedition 50. See how it says here, this is 6 hours and 21 minutes. Now, if you can find those for the old ones, you're in business, but those are a lot harder to find. They've been completely changed. Here's STS 50, but it's a post-flight press, so these are like the edited films. So if we want to keep looking, STS 91450. I think you can also look at, I'm not sure if I could click that right now. I'll wait 1 second. And this is Space Shuttle STS. Let's look at this one. Just because it looks like fun. Let me see, are you seeing what I'm seeing? Yes. Quiet down. So 1 second. This is let's see here. Oh, it looks like it's a post mission as well. But yeah, watching the Hubble repair is also hilarious stuff, because this is, let me show you a good picture of it. I tend not to want to stay on this too long because it's not my, look at that. That's the Hubble Space Telescope, folks. Believe that if you want. And again, it may seem hard to believe for most of us that anybody would ever lie to us about this stuff, but you really just need to think of how many people there are. You know, if somebody told you, hey, what are the odds that I jump over this gorge or whatever? And somebody said, oh, the odds of that are 1 in a million. Well, 1 in a million may seem like crazy odds, but if your odds are 1 in a million, it means that 6,250 people had that happen to them today. So when you start looking at such big groups of people, like the entire United States being 350 million people, then you start to realize that you wouldn't even need to look very far to find people that would steal from you. You know, if you left a $500 bill on your table at a party, and or $500, and people came over, there's a chance that that $500 would stay there because they're your friends and family. But then if they were all told at the beginning of the night that they could take the money and nobody would know, or you wouldn't know who at the party took it, now think of how many people at that party would steal that money. You know, maybe, okay, still a good majority of them wouldn't, but there's a couple who would. Now start upping that amount of money to $1,000, $5,000, $100,000, $500,000, $1 million. So now you're telling those people, hey, for $1 million, you can take this money, or, you know, take this money, it's worth $1 million, and you just have to tell a little lie to your friend, and nobody will ever know that you lied, nobody will ever know it was you, and all of a sudden it becomes quite easy to see why people would lie and how many people would lie. So when you've only had, what, 400 people have actually been to space, maybe it's 500, then it becomes easy to see why you know, these people could just be taking money, and that's all that's important to them. And again, if they were smart and intelligent, then that would be one thing. Oh, let's actually listen to that. That was the STS 49. Was it 49 or 47 was the one? Can't remember. Yeah, this one here.
The first one?
I just want you guys to listen to, is it this one, or let me see. I'm going to turn the volume up here. You should be able to hear that if I get to it. Come on. Oh, no, that's not the one. Let me go back one. So what I want you to listen to is for, and I do it too, a lot of people do it, use the constant or as you're talking. But usually what it means, or what they say, is when somebody's being careful about what they're talking about, to not say certain things, that they'll use a lot of uhs and ums. And then otherwise, though, if somebody it's new information, or they're unsure what they're talking about, then they use it. But if you're talking about, if I'm telling you about my day today, or if I'm telling you what I did yesterday, or what I did for this weekend, then I'm not going to use a lot of uhs and ums, because I'm telling you the truth of what happened this weekend, and my wife and I did this, and then we did this. That's how people talk when it's a real event. And so on globe busters or things like that, I might use and ums quite a bit. But I want you to hear what this scientist, or this astronaut, and is it this one? I want you to hear the amount of times that he says and just be thinking in your head and listen to this. It is hilarious. Let's see if we can count. Let's see if we come up with the same number. So start from now counting the amount of uhs that are said. I'm going to try and count it myself. Starting now. which went very fine. Whew. Let me count mine up. I had 77. That's what I got. I wonder what other people got. It's pretty high.
More than Larry.
Oh, don't tell me there was no sound. There had to be sound. There was no sound.
Oh.
It should be sound. Let me see what's going on here. That's too funny. Why would there be no sound there? I see sound. Oops, because I didn't turn the audio button on.
Oh.
Womp, 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 womp. Wait. I do have the audio on. No. Let me see if you hear this one. Shoot. Sorry about that. We're going to try it now. Because you heard the tape at the beginning, right? With the cops screaming and yelling and everything. Let's see here. 1 second. I'm going to try and do this from here. Merge. Pause. Don't know why that would work. Let me try this one real quick. Sorry about that. I don't know why it's not picking that up. This is the London Bar one. Ah, did you hear that? Screaming and yelling? I think you should have, but I could be wrong. Okay, so what we're going to do is let's listen from there and then we'll end the show. Go ahead, like I said, try and count the uhs. And let me get there. It was STS 49. And you may not see it because I'm just playing the sound here. But like I said, starting right now, let's go ahead and try and tell me if there's no sound, but there should be this time. I think you can clearly hear it. So go ahead and count. Starting. None of your videos have had sound from me. You should have, but let me hear it. How about this one? Let me know if you can hear that or not. Get me on where? I'll tell her. They said get you on, I think, the problem of no sound. No, they said it's muted on YouTube. What? No, I'm playing a different... It's not what you're seeing here. That's not the... I'm actually looking at this screen. But I can't find it. So, anyway, I will have that ready. It's kind of hard because I can't test things. It's kind of hard to test because I have to go live. But I might figure out a way to do so, either on a private one, or John the Morgile and myself might do a show either tomorrow or the next day where I'm going to be able to test some stuff, and he will keep you entertained while I do so. So anyway, thank you guys for joining me for another fun night. It should get better as we go along. Eventually I should figure out what I'm doing and how to do it. That's at least the hope. But it also could be something that takes me for the rest of my life to figure out. Who knows? And I don't see... Where's this one? Yeah, that one. There we go. So, anyway, I do appreciate you guys joining me. Thank you, everybody in the audience, everybody in the chat. Thank you, Michael T. Pyle and Dane, Gar, and Wake the Sheeple for your donations. I appreciate it so much. It is definitely going to a good cause. That much I can tell you. And thank you for everyone who tweeted. Again, I'm going to be able to iron out some of these issues and get better as we go along. So be kind to each other, don't lie, and open your mind. There's truth inside. Till next time, this has been Jeranism. Peace!